Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick little knife video just to point out that the thing that we've often talked about happening finally happened to me with this knife right here. This is the Reate PL FX, and I really enjoy this knife. And the thing that happened to this, I'm not really going to be able to show you, but ooh, it feels so bad. I'll tell you what happened. I had this knife with me. I was doing some work, and I specifically was doing a bunch of rust removal. It was the time to put snow tires on. I took the old snow tires out. They were a little, they needed to be cleaned up a bit, so I got the grinder and got a few other things ready. Um, to clean to grind off the rust and paint the snow tires. This knife was the one that I had with me, and I had it out of my pocket and set it down a couple of times, and I think that was my mistake. My pocket probably would have protected it, but because it was sort of sitting out in my workspace, it got a bunch of grit in it. So this, all of that rust flying through the air really messed with the action on this knife. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it apart, clean it up, uh, lubricate and put it back together, and hopefully that fixes everything. I'm not going to try to talk the whole time that I'm disassembling this. I'm just going to pause the video and then come back. So you'll have to bear with me on that. But here's the knife initially, and I know you can't hear it because I've got a mic up to my mouth here, but I can feel and hear grit moving around in here. It makes me not even really want to open the knife. And so I'm going to stop opening it. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to open it up by taking it apart and see if I can clean this up and get better performance out of it. So guys, I've got the scale off this, and I just wanted to give you a little look at how dirty this is. All right, so there is an argument to be made for not taking a knife that has a lot of intricate moving parts and having it with you when you are doing work like I was doing. All right, that involves a whole lot of gunk getting sprayed around in the air, spread around in the air. I might add that this video is primarily about knife stuff, but you probably don't want to be breathing that stuff either. So I wore a mask. Maybe it was overkill, but I would probably recommend you do the same. All right, so there's the first little bit of dirt. I'll show you guys progressively as we go through the disassembly. Okay guys, here's a shot of the knife. Once again, we're a little further down the line of disassembly. This time you can see the bearings, you can see the amount of grime and crap that's in there. Also, I haven't changed the bearing direction, so if you happen to take one of these apart yourself, you'll see the open side of the bearing assembly goes toward the knife blade. All right, and the knife blade has this nice groove in there. The other thing I have to say while we're looking at this is I kind of love that it's this large. Okay, let me go ahead and start cleaning this up a bit. I cannot believe how bad this actually is. You can also see the notch in the blade right there, which is what allows the lock to function. Also, this is a grease. It is not, it's a pretty viscous material. And I'll just tell you, I'm using baby wipes because the alcohol content helps the liquid to evaporate better, but just don't use the ones that have extra like cream added for sensitive skin or whatever. You don't want any residue left behind on the knife once you are done with this process. They are captured bearings, and they look pretty clean on the inside, so that I'm going to consider a win. Let's clean this guy out a little bit, and then now that you've sort of seen what's going on the inside here, and yeah, some dirt got all the way down right into the inside of the knife, which is a little bit frustrating. All right. Okay, so there you can also see the detent and the detent track. All right. Let's clean up this side. And I'm going to leave the locking mechanism together. There's a spring in here. Well, there's a spring actually right here that you can see, a coil spring that allows this little tab. See the little tab right there? It goes up and down, and that's where the detent ball is, as you can see right there. So in addition to seeing one of the limits of bearing knives, you're also seeing how this particular lock functions. There's a signature in here as well of the designer, which is kind of cool. Okay. I'm satisfied with the achievement of how clean I want this to be. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting things back together. For that process, again, I'm going to pause the video and just bring you back at the end so that I don't go silent and have these long, long pauses where I'm concentrating on putting things back together. Okay, I'm not done putting this back together, but I just wanted to point out I am using KPL as I reassemble this, and you can see the detent track, or I mean the bearing track established there on one of the steel liners. Okay, just wanted to stop again in this process as I'm putting everything back together and point out that I I did actually have to uh, take everything back apart because it was still gritty. So it's not an easy process if you get that kind of dirt in your knife. So I recommend you just don't do it at all. So take that for what it's worth. Um, I'll be back again when I finally put this whole thing back together and can give it another test.